What's going on? What's going on? Facebook and the YouTube world, social media. What's going on? This is the author, right back at your ass. Just want to talk to you a little bit about the Floyd Mayweather Jr. and the Manny Paquiao fight. Now, that just happened this past Saturday. Now, for a lot of you who saw the fight, you think Floyd did a lot of running. You think, he should have stood there and fought like a man. And a lot of you who purchased the fight thought that you were robbed of your money, that you didn't get your money's worth because you didn't see what you wanted to see. You think you wasted your time, watching the fight. And for all of you who, thought you were overcharged for the pay-per-view and you felt you got gypped, I want to say good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you got taken, and I can sit here and I can tell you why I'm glad. First off, 85% of you who bought that pay-per-view fight, Floyd versus Manny Paquiao, you don't know shit about boxing. Let me say that again. 85% of you who bought that Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight, you don't know shit about boxing. You don't know shit. You don't know shit about boxing. Not shit. Let me tell you why. Okay, a lot of you who bought that fight, you never even seen Floyd in the ring. Some of you, you've never seen him at all. You don't know about the Floyd versus Oscar De La Hoya fight. You didn't see that. You didn't watch. You didn't even watch the highlights. You don't know about Floyd versus Ricky Hatton. You don't know about the great Floyd versus Miguel Cotto. You never saw Floyd versus Sugar Shea Mosley. You never saw any of these fights. Floyd versus Zab Judah. I'm not saying you had to follow him for years, but a lot of you've never even seen who bought the pay-per-view. You've never even seen Manny Paquiao in action. You've never seen Pacquiao versus Miguel Cotto. Great fight. You've never seen Pacquiao versus Mark Garrido. You've never seen Pacquiao versus Sugar Shea Mosley. You've never seen Pacquiao versus Joseph or Clottey. I think his name is. Clottey's an African great fighter. You guys never seen any of these fights. So, you don't know shit about boxing. You just went off of the premise that you thought you were going to see a black man, Floyd Mayweather, get embarrassed. Okay, you were bought into this whole thing that, Floyd's the bad guy and that he's scared of Manny Paquiao. I mean, the man's been fighting since he was 5. You don't think he's seen just about every style out there possible? He told you he sparred with Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. He's also sparred. Floyd is also sparred with Sweet Pea and Frankie Randall, technically first man to defeat the great to defeat the great Julio Cesar Chavez. He's told you he's sparred these guys at 17, man. You think he hasn't seen just about every style out there. But you guys bought the fight on the premise that you thought you were going to see Floyd get embarrassed, finally see him get beaten, see him get humiliated, to see him lose his streak, everything he's worked for, everything he's owned. You thought you wanted to see a man lose it all, and you didn't see that. You also wanted to see what you regard as a fight. You wanted to see two people getting in there. You wanted to see a fight on a second grade level, what I call second grade level fights. Two guys standing in front of each other, beating the shit out of one another. One of those Rocky, Apollo, just sitting there trading. Arturo Gatti used to do that with, I forget the guy's name, and him and this other guy used to go back and forth all the time. But you thought you were going to see one of those fights where, somebody just gets in there and trade. And think about that. Now, think about that. Anybody can pretty much do it. You see the average fight in the street with two guys or two girls fighting. What are they doing? What are they doing? They're standing in front of each other and they're just trading punches. Is that an art form? No, that's just two people beating the shit out of each other. You know, it's just like the same thing. You go to an art museum. Now, some people, the average people, will see certain art pieces and they'll say, man, that looks ugly. But that piece is a masterpiece. But the average person will say that masterpiece looks ugly because that person doesn't know shit about art. And Floyd Mayweather Jr., however, maybe most of you can't stand him, but he's an artiste in the ring. But if you don't know shit about boxing, you won't understand why he's an artiste in the ring. That fight with him and Pacquiao was a great fight. I mean, granted, they both are older and they've come down levels, but that was still a great fight. But Floyd was able to take away because Pacquiao looked fairly good. He looked better to me than he looked in the Bradley, the Desert Storm. What's his name? Bradley or whatever. I don't really like his style, but in the second Bradley fight, Pacquiao didn't look that great to me. That's the one he won. But he looked almost like his old self, pretty good. He had that straight up onslaught offense. But if you really watch the fight, Floyd took that away from him. Nobody else was able to do that. He took Pacquiao's power and speed away from him. You see what I'm saying? Because Pacquiao can still defeat a lot of people still. But Floyd took that away from him, you see. But if you don't understand boxing, then you won't understand that. You think somebody should have to, have that type of Rocky Balboa style, that Jake LaMotta style. Like if they don't lead with their head and come in straight forward and trade punches, then they're sissies. They don't know how to fight. That's not necessarily boxing. You know, it's a difference between boxing and brawling and street fighting. But most of you people don't know shit about boxing. Because if you don't appreciate Floyd Mayweather Jr., now I don't know the man, never met him. I don't know shit about him as a person. But if you can't look at that style and appreciate that, you don't know shit about boxing. Because if you can't appreciate that, you can't appreciate Muhammad Ali's style. You can't appreciate Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker's style. You can't appreciate Sugar Ray Leonard's style. You can't appreciate Jack Johnson's style. You can't appreciate James Lights Out Tony's style. Roy Jones Jr., he went along those lines with that style. Come on now. You can't appreciate any of those guys, man. You saying all of them can't fight? You know, even boxing historians rate them at the top of the game. You know, they say Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker is one of the best fighters. He made the top 10 list for one of the best fighters in the past 80 years. You saying he can't fight because he runs? Because he don't sit there and swap and trade punches with people? He can't fight? You guys don't know shit about boxing, man. Don't know shit. Don't know shit. And most of you who bought the pay-per-view event thought that you was going to see Floyd get knocked out. Like I said, Floyd get embarrassed. You want to see Floyd trade and brawl. But that's not what he does, because he's not a brawler. He's a what? A boxer. And since you don't know shit about boxing, you're not going to understand his style of why he's great. So I'm glad you felt you got taken. Because it's the same thing, too. If someone sells me a ballet event, right? They said, this is a ballet event. But this one, the queen, the person, the lady that's the best in ballet, you know, she's arrogant. She might fall down and hurt herself. And she might lose to this other, her other ballet opponent. You know, and you shouldn't like her. You know, you should root for the other lady. She made the champ, ballerina, female from Russia or wherever. She's going to get humiliated. She has a good chance of getting humiliated and having her streak broke. She's about 40-0 in ballet competitions. And she may get embarrassed. So I buy that event. For what reason? I've never watched ballet on TV. I don't know shit about ballet, but I buy that event because I want to see what that lady get embarrassed. And that's the premise that they sold that fight to y'all on, that the champ may get embarrassed. And for you, all you who don't like Mayweather, or you don't like black people in general, or you don't like somebody that's black and cocky, you want to see him get humiliated, they sold you the fight on that premise. You bought it and you got disappointed. Because you want to see what? Floyd, black man, get his ass beat, get humiliated. Now, I'm not saying that won't one day happen, but I'm not hoping for it to happen. If the man is great, he's great. If he wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. But you guys tried to get that fight on for the wrong reasons. Don't purchase something that you don't know shit about, and you know you don't know shit about it, and you don't even watch it leisurely. You don't know shit about the great fighters, man. Michael's second to none. You don't know shit about those guys, man. Not one damn thing. Never watched a boxing bout in your life. You don't know about a young Mike Tyson. And for all you guys who question how good Mike was between 85 and 91, I mean, do your research. You're green. He's one of the best heavyweights ever. 19 years old. Got his first title. I think the first guy to unify all three sanctions, the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC. You guys, and some of you guys on the boxing forums don't know shit. You rode this bandwagon, and that bandwagon broke down, and now you're stranded. And now all you have left to say is that the man, he's not a good fighter, or he didn't stand there and swap and trade punches. But that's not what he does. He's a boxer, and brawling. People who know about boxing know that brawling isn't necessarily, that's not boxing. That's brawling. Any fool that's a second grade level of boxing. Any fool can stand there. 9 times out of 10, if I'm untrained, I stand in front of somebody, we fight, chances are, it's probably going to be a brawl. I'm trying to get hits and he's trying to get hits. Anybody can do that. But to stand in front of a man like Sweet Pea does, man's throwing all his punches at you, his combinations, 1, 2, 3. He's throwing all his combos at you, and this man can just duck. He's ducking. He's backing up. You can't hit him, but he's right in front of you. That's an artiste, man. Respect that. Same as Muhammad Ali. These guys, these other trained fighters, if you're anywhere in the top 10 in any weight division, you're a deadly opponent. And these guys are barely moving their head to one side. They're barely moving their head a few inches and making these guys miss these very hard bolo knockout punches they're throwing. Ali might move his head very subtle, and he's making this guy miss all of his shots. That's art, man. And in the world of boxing, Ali, Purnell, Sugar Ray Leonard, Jack Johnson, Floyd Mayweather Jr. These guys are artistes, man. If you know anything about boxing, you should be able to respect that. And Roger Mayweather was a bad man in his day too. So you don't know it's about 3 generations of Mayweather. Most of you guys don't even know that. You don't know his pop in 1978. Floyd Mayweather Sr. fought Sugar Ray Leonard. Some of you guys have never even seen that. So don't sit up here and bitch and moan and complain because you didn't see what you want to see. You don't know shit about boxing. You was expecting to see something that wasn't likely anyway. And if you knew even a little bit about boxing, you would have known that shit wasn't likely to see Floyd get knocked out by Pacquiao. Come on, man. How many times has Floyd Mayweather Jr. been on the floor as a professional? Now, I think it's donut, right? Come on, man. This is just the author, though. That's my 2 cents on it. Y'all take care. Author out.